it for the world. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough.
Out on a Limo. The 32nd episode of season 1 of The Loud House. God, this feels like one of those annoying Richie Rich son of a bitch in 8 Crazy Nights with Adam Sandler. Fucking bad influence to children of all ages on a small screen. Fuck, let's just rush this episode because I can't stand watching this kind of episode of The Loud House. So, as this episode begins, you kinda can't really believe what's going on. Lincoln Loud is actually waiting on for a limo to come by to the house. Why? Because he won a contest by eating a whole bunch of jars of mustard. Yeah, isn't that something? Suddenly, the limo shows up at the front door, and his chauffeur, Kirby, introduces himself.
Good morning, sir. I'm Kirby, your personal chauffeur for the day.
Wow, totally riled up, aren't they? So all the sisters have so much of a good time being in a limo with Lincoln. Let's face it, a limo has mostly everything. So much fun the sisters are having.
Let's go pick up my team! Let's go to the mall! I know a funeral procession we can ride.
But Lori agrees to all of her other sisters that they should let Lincoln enjoy it. I mean, after all, he did win it. He makes a deal with Lori and the girls that he'll take them to the Bourbon Burger at 5 o'clock sharp after he's done having his day.
Hungry, y'all? Look no further. Come on down to Bourbon Burger. Gravy, beef, and special spice. When it comes back up, it's twice as nice.
So all the sisters exit out the limo and Lincoln takes off.
Hold up.
So Lincoln is so much enjoying the good life of being inside a limo, not to mention that he's having so much respectful manners to his chauffeur Kirby.
Your premium transportation experience begins now, sir.
What's all this sir stuff? Call me Lincoln.
Phew. Well, that's a load off. I'm used to driving around snobby guys. Hey, so where to? Anywhere you want.
I know just the place.
He makes his first stop at Flip's, and Flip's offers him a free slushie.
B.
Wow, Flip! You've never given me anything free before!
Well, you never had a limo before.
And what could be much better than just being in a limo, but having a TV news reporter actually ask you a few questions. Limos are just so popular, I can tell you that much. Hell, I've never even been in one before. Just then, another limo shows up, except this limo's white.
Say there, I like your limo. How did you obtain it?
Mustard.
Oh, you must be the heir to the mustard fortune. What's your name?
Lincoln Loud, but I'm not the...
I'm Lord Tetherby, heir to the Tetherball fortune. I was just heading to my exclusive country club. Care to join me?
Don't do it, Lincoln. Don't follow that limo. You don't even know what rich people are capable of. But then, of course...
Kirby, follow that limo!
So after following the big ball of cancer to his mansion, which is so typical of some rich, wealthy people live in.
Welcome to the Tetherby Country Club.
Oh wow, look at all these pictures. Rich, wealthy, elder, white man. Should have brought my rape whistle. This whole entire mansion looks like Oliver Warbucks from Annie, which I pray he didn't steal this from him. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get ourselves whacked upside the head pretty soon. Lincoln dines with the fat ball, whose stomach looks like an anime brass.
Is there anything else I can get you, sir?
Oh, you don't need to call me sir. You can call me Lincoln.
Was that a bad thing to say?
See here, Loud. A man in a limo doesn't act all chummy with the help. It only confuses them.
Nothing like stereotype how wealthy people talk. And of course, Sir Lincoln starts to hang out with the fat, large, sorry-ass sack of shit, which I should carve my name onto his cottage cheese. Having so much fun with golfing, croqueting, and even they're doing some smooth sailing in their limo. On the Titanic, which I'm praying they should be having a rabid dog on this boat.
You know there's something you should know, so I'm gonna tell you so. Don't sweat it. Forget it. Enjoy the show.
Of course, Lincoln reminds himself that it's a quarter to 5 o'clock, and he's got to get to his sister to go to the Bourbon Burger.
The Bourbon Burger?
Yeah, you know. Grade D beef and special spice. When it comes back up, it's twice as nice.
Look here, Loud, you're a man in a limo. You can't be seen in some rat hole named after a bodily function. It's just not done. Now come on, old bean. It's time for limo sailing.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just fucking fail. Fucking fail now.
Wait for me, old broccoli stalk!
You pussy.
Meanwhile, back at the Loud House, I don't know why, I actually love that face that Lori is making. It's like the face of, I'm gonna skin you alive, you little fucking prick. She is just shaking so angrily, just waiting to strangle the kid. I mean Lincoln. It just looks like she's having a hormone problem.
I'm gonna skin you alive!
So after their fun little wealthy rich life that they're actually enjoying, Lincoln actually gets an invitation to go to a party, which allows him only.
Why am I not surprised?
By the way, you want to hear something so ironically? In this season, Lincoln Loud is voiced by Graham Palmer. And looking back at this episode at this way about what he is going through a wealthy, rich, good life, he also portrayed another character from another movie that was just like this way. Can you guess who he was? No? How about this? That's right, that is Graham Palmer right there as Waldo in The Little Rascals Save the Day. And Waldo himself is actually a rich, wealthy kid too, who comes from a very wealthy family. Of course, this Little Rascals is this century. The other Little Rascals from last year's century, from the 90s. And that one had the actual kid who actually played Waldo in that one, who was wearing glasses at the time. And he was actually in a show called Full House, which I cannot figure out which episode was he in, or what season. But I'm gonna be honestly straight, I really did not like this kid. I mean, Waldo to be precise. And I'm just so grateful Macaulay Culkin didn't actually play Waldo. So Lincoln shows up at home and tries to sneak his way inside the house.
Sorry, wrong house. Where have you been?
How the hell did they go from being inside the house to getting outside the house that fast? I don't know, it's a cartoon. And most cartoons are believed to make no sense at all. And boy, do these girls look pissed. Well, the entire world is like that.
I'm really sorry. I had a busy day with the very wealthy Lord Tetherby and I just couldn't get away. I cannot believe you have been hanging out with some random rich guy all day instead of taking your own sisters to the Burpin' Burger! A man in a limo can't be seen in some rat hole named after a bodily function. It's just not done.
Take that back before I pull out your spleen and then drive you to the hospital in your brand new car! We need to have a talk.
You're not a man in a limo. You're a kid who ate a bunch of mustard. As soon as your limo's gone, this little fantasy of yours is going to be over.
You know what? Someday you're gonna wind up all alone. And you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
Oh, really? Is that why they're making me a member of their club tonight?
Ooh, I don't like the face he made there.
I don't owe you a thing. You hear me?
Holy shit!
You know, I really support of Lincoln of standing up for himself, but I'm really not liking of what's happening to him right now. Sometimes changing is a good thing, but in other times, changing can sometimes be a bad thing depending on which road you take. The more you gain for being arrogant and selfish, the less you're actually going to have. Which is clearly what I'm thinking about what's going to happen. Lincoln, he figures this out the hard way. But I'm not going to blame him for how he's changing. You know who I blame? Come on, ask me who I blame for all this. I dare ya to ask me who. I blame that fat fucking son of a bitchin' Ebenezer Scrooge motherfucking taxpayer monopoly guy Featherby for changing Lincoln like this. Fuck, I'd rather live my life of freedom of all my choices I can make, rather than living uptight, rich, and selfish and greedy. Jesus, fuck, this is why I avoid and stay away from rich people like him.
You'll see, Lincoln! You're no better than the rest of us!
Hey, you stay away from the frozen food section, your boobs will harden.
Shoot, if the parents even heard Lincoln talk like this to them, I wonder what world of punishment would the parents even put him in.
People, you must have lost your goddamn mind!
Speaking of, where are they in this episode? Especially when we need them in a time like this.
No better than the rest of us? How dare she she?
And all those black mark clothes, I ain't gonna fool nobody. I can even tell that he scribbled all over his shirt and his jeans. He's on his way to this rich, large butch party. He starts to treat Kirby like shit, which I'm really not appreciating with this episode of him becoming a whole different person.
I'm an important person, and I've got important places to be. Speaking of which, why aren't we moving?
Come on, you bastard! I'm late for work! Oh, this is perfect.
This is unacceptable. Can't you drive around this?
There's nothing I can do. Sorry, Lincoln.
Don't call me Lincoln. It's Sir. Tetherby was right. If you get too chummy with the help, it just confuses them. Let's keep this straight, Kirby. I'm the man in the limo. You're the man driving the limo.
Why, you little...
And what's all this beeping?
It's the timer, sir. Your day is up. You're no longer a man in a limo.
What?
And with that being said, Kirby kicks him the fuck out of the limo. Well, there's one way to say it sucks to be you.
Well, the joke's on you, because I took some of your mustard.
Lincoln still makes his way to the upper-class rich people's party, and he gets chased by a bunch of dogs in the alley.
The joke's on you! These aren't real dress shoes. They're sneakers I colored in with a marker. Well, the joke's on you, cause, who am I kidding? The joke's on me.
I rest my case, and now the joke's on you, you godless little bloodsucker. So when Lincoln makes it to the mansion...
I say loud, what happened to you? And more importantly, what happened to your limo? Without a limo, you cannot possibly join the club. It just isn't done.
But old, Sprout, I thought I fit in splendidly.
You did, when you had a limo. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have about 800 Lincoln balloons to pop.
So Lord Featherbrain rejects him. Well, I can say that's one way to burst your bubble. And he gets his ass kicked out of the front gate. Well, fuck that almighty, powerful, rich blubber butt. You're better off doing your own thing and living your own life of freedom. After all, Lincoln's just a kid. See, what he nearly did during this episode was that he nearly rushed his own life, which is what some kids would try to do. Try to rush their young life so they can grow up to be the most rich and powerful person on the earth. When really, you really shouldn't have to rush life at all. The old saying, enjoy being young while it lasts. There's so much you can actually do. I enjoyed my life being young as much as I enjoyed so much my life in school and didn't throw much everything away. I really enjoyed so much my youth life until the time came for me to graduate, get a job, and start budgeting some money to save up. But kids, they want to grow up so much faster, and when they do, they wish they were young again. So the next day, Lincoln shows up in the limo, and the sisters are quite not pleased about what they're seeing, but they did have to hear something from Lincoln.
The limo's not for me, it's for you. I'm sorry about the way I acted yesterday. I never should have broken my promise to take you guys to the Bourbon Burger. Hungry, y'all? Look, no quiet, he's groveling. Proceed!
How would you know, Lisa?
Right, so I called Kirby and apologized. He's agreed to give us one more ride. Now I know you're probably so mad at me that you don't even want... I guess they forgive me.
I can see that now. So Lincoln, his sisters, and Kirby go off to the Bourbon Burgers and they order burgers and fries. And even though I said before I've never been in a limo my whole entire life, but I'm wishing I actually would have been, anything better than just being a person in a limo, it's just being a family in a limo. And just as shit almost couldn't get better or worse, Tubby McFuckabee shows up.
I say loud, it's good to see you back in a limo. What say you ditch the riffraff and come back to the club?
Please tell me you're not gonna drink from that cup again, Lincoln.
You know what, Tetherby? How about some mustard to go with that baloney?
Well, that's more like it.
Go blow your dad, you mullet-wearing asshole!
That's what all trolls and haters should get. I'm actually real satisfied that Lincoln actually made the right choice there. You know I said once about upper class people thinking they're powerful and way better than we are. But if I was rich as Lord Featherby Fat Fuck, I can afford some fucking manners. No matter how rich or poor or black or white you are, or if you're a girl or a boy, everybody is on the same scale as much famous celebrities are. And I accept really good people in my life. Lincoln and his sisters and Kirby, they drive along the limo while singing a different tune.
Hungry, y'all? Look no further. Come on down to Bourbon Burger. Gravy, beef, and special spice. When it comes back up, it's twice as nice.
And that was Out on a Limo. 3 words to say about that.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
I have to spell everything out for you guys about this episode. I really don't care, and I really don't like this episode. I really didn't like the plot of this episode. I really didn't like what Lincoln was becoming. And I hate that fat fucking donut eating fat Albert Monopoly tax playing Lord Featherby, or whatever the fuck his name was. Everybody else could join me in too, because I really hate this fat fuck. He was the one who turned Lincoln into a disrespectful, obnoxious snob. Fuck, all he cared about is money, which is selfish and greedy. This episode really blows me. Shows a bad influence that high-class people like that arrogant, rude, obnoxious Lord Featherby are showing judgments toward lower-class people like Lincoln and his sisters. Hell, there's somebody in this city of Zeeland, Holland, Michigan, and I get treated like crap with this person just because I'm a different color. But that's not the point, not to talk about me. But I can give it credit that the ending was great. Featherby got what was coming to him and having mustard squirted all over him and his limo for brainwashing Lincoln. Now, before I can finish this review, I know what you all are thinking. There is actually another high-class cartoon character who's just like Lord Featherby, Scrooge McDuck. I will say right now that Scrooge McDuck is nothing like Lord Featherby at all. Okay, Scrooge may be stingy and fixated on money, but he truly cares about his family when it all comes down to it. I mean, he almost went bankrupt after spending millions to search for Della. So Scrooge McDuck actually has a heart. Lord Featherby doesn't. And plus, Scrooge McDuck is not all judgmental, or he isn't too judgmental. He cares for some lower class people, or animals, in his universe. And as I said before, I really did not like what Lincoln was becoming in this episode. I hated how the way he was turning into Davy Stone and Oscar from Shark Tale when he started getting tastes of the good life. This episode made me not like him very much. Ever since The Loud House came on in 2016, when I started watching this show, I've never, ever considered Lincoln to be one of my favorite kid characters of The Loud House. I don't hate him. It's just the choices that he makes that I don't like. Overall, if I'm rich or not, 10 stars. I'm the Loud House Critic, and I gotta go whack myself.
Whoa! Oh, that was nice.
Do you like the seesaw? Can't say I've heard of it, but, what the heck?
The only reason you didn't get this was because of us.
You're playing with fire, bro!
Trapped inside this tiny space may sound